Okay, a basic throwing program, the whole idea of which is to make sure that we've got as strong an arms as possible and also make sure that we've got good efficiency and that we're going to limit our injuries. The whole way that we can do this, very similar to in baseball, is called a throwing program. It takes around about 8 to 10 minutes, and if done over and over and over again over a period of time, can make you very, very strong and lead to less injuries and, as I said, more efficiency and strength in your throwing. If we're the best throwing team in the comp, we're very likely to have a good amount of success.
Basic throwing program involves two players, both with baseball gloves on. They're going to start with the wrist position here. So what they're going to look to do is isolate that wrist position, no shoulders, no chest involved at all, and the wrist is doing all the work. As you can see, the wrist is cocking back all the way, and we're using that kind of flexibility in the wrist to gain as much momentum on the ball as we can. We're going to do this for about a minute or so. The more that we do it, the stronger the wrist will get. Every single throw that we're going to do today is flat and hard and at about chest height, hopefully. But as you can see, they're both wearing baseball gloves. So the whole idea is that we throw as hard as we possibly can at all times, and we increase the strength and elasticity of our muscles, particularly in the wrist, shoulders, and chest. So if we move on, boys, and we'll move on to now isolating the elbow. So now we're just purely using the lower forearm. Again, this will go for a minute or so, maybe 2 minutes. Depends on what your personal needs and targets are. So he holds the elbow so that the shoulder doesn't get involved. You can see the wrist is still flicking, so it's an accumulation. Excellent work. Okay, we'll move out to the shoulder now. So the shoulder is going to get out to 90 degrees. The elbow will be actually above the height of the shoulder. And what he's going to look to do, as you can see, he's sort of pinning his shoulder a little bit. He's going to look to isolate just the rotator cuff. So hopefully we're going to get the ball to cock back in the wrist as far as he can go, and he's going to finish straight down. He's going to finish straight down. Hopefully we're not getting the shoulder involved at all, and it's purely isolating those muscles and tendons in the shoulder. This is going to increase strength and elasticity. We're at a distance of around about 5 meters or so at the moment. They do move back slightly depending on how hard that they can get the throw. As I said, every throw is as hard as you possibly can. All right, we're going to isolate now going push and pull front on. Yep, so it's a push and pull. You're allowed to use your front arm, but absolutely no rotation of the hips whatsoever. This is purely a shoulder and the rest of your body situation. And this is as hard as you possibly can at your partner. When I say push and pull, I mean the front arm getting out there and pulling in, balancing your body. The head should be always heading towards your partner. This is one you'll do for a little bit longer. This is one you'll do for about a minute, 2 minutes. 2 minutes would be probably a minimum, I would say, depending on how much time you've got to do it. Okay, so now we'll go to a side on, please, Deck. Beautiful, so we'll side on. And again, there's no movement of the feet, but now we can bring the hips into it. As you can see, again, it's an accumulation. We've started with the wrist, we've gone to the forearm, and now we're getting ourselves from the shoulders and now into the hips. You can see a rotation. Those feet are not allowed to move at all. It's okay to make slip-ups as long as you're doing it at 100%. So you can see that those feet are not allowed to move. Boggy, those feet need to be side on, please. The reason why we're isolating that area in the top half is so that the body learns how to create power without that other half of the body. Okay, so now Deck will need to move back because you're going to get yourself into a proper throw. Now the elements of the proper throw we've just discussed. All those parts are there for self-checking. Now they're moving into a proper throw, stepping into that throw, head going towards the target. The front arm, you'll notice, becomes powerful at the left hip. Declan could probably get that ball up a little higher, a little earlier, and load it up. It's okay to make mistakes. I want them to throw as hard as they possibly can and make mistakes and break things at 100%, because the more you do this in isolation, the better you'll get at it in a game situation. Now this will be done for at least 2 minutes. This is probably around the 15 metre mark, 10, 15 metre mark. You'll move back to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. all a minute to 2 minutes each of 100% throwing.